Now you are the body of Christ and individually members of it. And God has appointed in the church apostles, prophets, teachers, people who can do deeds of power, gifts of healing, forms of assistance, and forms of leadership, people who sing and sew and work hammers and circular saws, people who are great with youth and people who are great with children, and people who are great with adults, people who want to learn and people who want to teach. You are the body of Christ. So that's a little paraphrase of 1 Corinthians chapter 12 for you, verses 27 and 28. Good morning. This is Frank's 5 for Tuesday, April the 9th, and it's a glorious and beautiful day outside. And also, just as a side note, today my grandmother, Anna Julia Rahm, would have been 113. And on another day, you know what? I think I'm going to tell you about her today. My grandma was a devoted woman to her church. She was devoted to her Lord. She was devoted to her husband and her children and her grandchildren, which thankfully I am one. She sang, she played piano, and she taught. And she was one of those church members that was always willing and able to step in where things needed to be stepped into. And so I encourage all of us to consider those saints who have gone before us and to follow their example of how they have stepped in to help at the church. And it's not so much helping at the church as it is being the church. Here at First United Methodist Church Saxe, this past Sunday, is a prime example. We had volunteers singing at various portions of the worship service, and they all did a beautiful job. And then we had volunteers teaching Sunday school. And then we had volunteers stuffing Easter eggs for our big Easter egg hunt, which is this Sunday. All children and their friends welcome. It'll be about 12 o'clock, by the way. Anyway, and then we had volunteers making supper for our youth and volunteers with youth ministry. When I was on a mission trip in Costa Rica one year, the man who was in charge of the mission project had been planting new Methodist churches since the mid-50s. And this was like 50 years after. He had been there like 50 years when he said this to me. He said, "You can accomplish a lot if you don't care who gets the credit." You are the body of Christ, and individually members of it. The body of Christ. It's Christ who gets the credit. It's not you, it's not me. We're not the body of Frank, or the body of Sheila, or the body of Joe, or the body of David. We're the body of Christ. What are you good at? What has God made you good at? What's a talent God has given you that you can use in a loving way to share with your church? Because remember, you are loved, and you're looking for a way to share that love with others. God has given you a way to do it. I wonder what it is for you. I'm looking forward to hearing from you just what it is for you. Praise be to God. Thanks be to God for his grace and his mercy and his love. And I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.